Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Chiron, square, opposition, or inconjunct one's natal sun. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Chiron, it can be about physical and emotional wounds, depleted self-esteem, and also helping and healing others. Now, when transit Chiron is basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal sun, well, I'm going to elaborate on that first. Now, when I say basically adverse aspect, okay, squares and oppositions in astrology, of course, are adverse and negative aspects. Now, the inconjunct is neutral, but a neutral aspect can have good and bad qualities, and coupled with the fact that an inconjunct can often require an adjustment or a transition, and that, of course, can cause some exasperation and tension. So collectively, basically, I do see this as an adverse transit. Now, anyway, in transit Chiron is basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal sun. Well, it can be about physical and emotional wounds, depleted self-esteem, and also helping and healing others. These things may conflict with your life in general. You might feel at this time, that your life is such where, you have to do certain things with it, and but the thing is, trying to help others out, maybe might be taking precedence over this, and it's causing a conflict of living your own life. Um, if the sun, say, is in a Capricorn, could be a life, that's somewhat regimented, that's dominated by career interests, and a life where you may be, you're very capable of looking after your own interests, and then you could have others, interests, others' needs as far as helping and healing them might be taking priority or precedence over this. This is something, and if the sun is in Cancer, it could be a life of introversion. You might be actually where there may, I should say, others' needs, trying to help and heal others may conflict with a life of introversion if the sun is in Cancer, as another example. Now, the sun is also connected with the energy and vitality, and it could be that doing things for others, trying to help others out if they're in some crisis situation, whatever it might be, might be might be draining your energy and vitality, at this point in time. And the thing about this too is that the sun is also about our basic wants. It can be a time where you may not really want to help and heal others at this time, or maybe there's something, and the sun is also about the ego. So in the fact that Chiron is connected with depleted self-esteem, self-worth, and how you feel about yourself, it might be having a detrimental effect on your own ego. It could be something connected where the ego is somewhat hurt, and it might be in the depleted self-esteem, was probably not helping matters, or it could be where, there was something that damaged the ego in recent time that has, made possibly situation, with depleted self-esteem even worse at the time of this transit. Now, the thing too is that the sun is also connected with the basic character. And the thing about this transit is, when you have transits that are basically adverse or negative, I mean, obviously they're negative for a reason, and it might be bringing out, there might be suffering that you might be enduring. Maybe it's connected with bringing out negative qualities of your basic character at this time. And let's say, for example, if the sun is in Virgo, it can be something where being overly worrisome, critical, judgmental, exacting, something where maybe there's borderline compulsive complaining going on, or if the sun is in Taurus, it might be a very obstinate or stubborn streak coming out, or greedy or avaricious, characteristics are coming out more, and maybe they're suffering as a result of this energy coming out. And the thing about this too, Chiron is also about ineptitude and weaknesses, where we feel, at least we feel somewhat, inept. And say a transit Chiron is in Aries, which at the time of this video, it is in Aries. There's a lot of this, emotional suffering people may be going through collectively that is connected, feelings of unworthiness about identity. And the thing is, if this is making an adverse aspect, to the sun, it could be taking that life, out of you, so to speak, at this time. And somebody's got the sun in Cancer, as an or Capricorn, and it's making a square to it, or say the sun is in Libra. People can really feel this very intensified, at this time. And the thing about this transit as well is that, the sun is also connected with the biological father. So there might be some issues at the time of this transit where you might be even going through some physical suffering, which might be challenging activities with the biological father at this point in time. Or maybe there's some situation with this person that might be exacerbating existing emotional wounds or suffering at this time. And the fact that, keep in mind that Chiron is could be connected with physical suffering, and the sun is associated, can have a connection with the physical body. Yes, the ascendant is what dominates the appearance and physical body, but the sun can play a role as well in that. And it can be where there might be something where a physical situation, wounds, which is Chiron, could be exacerbating some situation that might already be existing with the physical body at this time, and also have an adverse effect on the vitality more so than usual. Now, the sun is also connected with dominant males in one's life, and it could be a time too where this transit of Chiron, if you're trying to take care of your own emotional suffering, your own moods, dealing with ineptitude, certain weakness in your life, dominant male figures may be challenging this, at this point in time. And also may be harder to shine or dominate in something at this time with this transit. I mean, say for example, if the sun, natal sun is in Sagittarius, it could be in some sports activity or something outdoors or something with athletics, at this time, or even publishing or advertising. This is something where, there could be some physical suffering, maybe some feeling of ineptitude that's challenging you, to basically shine or stand out somewhere. And it could also be, the sun, and it could also be where if there's any physical suffering, which is connected again with Chiron, might be conflicting with creative energy. At this time, you might not feel as up to do things, from a creative standpoint. If the sun is in Gemini, it could be creative writing as an example. If the sun is in Aquarius, it could be doing some kind of, maybe it's graphic artwork, or something digital. It could be digital art, or designing, something for like a website for somebody. And also too, the sun is connected with our focus and our attention. So if there's any physical suffering, naturally there's going to be difficulty in focusing and putting your attention on something, being able to put that concentration of energy on a particular matter at this point in time. And it may also cause difficulty in taking action at this time. If there's a crisis situation, or there's something, a monetary matter, whatever it might be, there can be more difficulty in doing so because you may be distracted by some emotional or physical suffering. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, another thing too, anatomically speaking, okay. Now the sun is connected with the heart, the spine, and the upper back. And, you know, if there's something, there could be more, maybe physical suffering if you have any of these issues at this time. Maybe you don't, maybe there's some, some kind of ineptitude, or this lack of self-worth. Maybe there's a confidence issue where you feel you can't, you don't have the control or to improve these situations. Again, if there is something ongoing with the heart, spine, or upper back, those body parts that are anatomically connected with the sun. Now, another thing too, another way this transit may manifest, it could be difficult to help and heal others. Could be due to perhaps a conflict, with what you want, your basic wants at this time, which is the sun, and helping and healing others, of course, is associated with Chiron. Now, let's say if the natal sun is in Cancer, as an example, it could be wanting just to simply do activities that are associated with the home, the family, nostalgia, just general introverted activities. And another thing too, another way this transit may be expressed, it could be about physical and emotional wounds, which is Chiron, may make it harder to take action, again, which is the sun. Now, let's say if the natal sun is in Scorpio, as an example, it could be something with wills, or a crisis, or an insurance or tax related matter, as some examples. Now, also too, depleted self-worth may adversely affect your general drive and motivation at this time. Let's say, for example, if the sun is in Leo, it could be doing your drive and motivation associated perhaps with children or entertainment, or doing something with the military. Could be product demonstration, something, attention-seeking ventures. Those things, maybe you might have more difficulty in finding the drive and motivation to do at this time. Now, also too, Chiron is associated with the pain that runs deepest. Now, the pain that runs deepest, which again is connected with Chiron, may have a negative effect on what you want and what your focus is at this time, which is the sun. Let's say, for example, if the natal sun is in Aquarius in the 12th house, it could be perhaps a focus on, altruistically, which is Aquarius, helping the less fortunate, which is the 12th house. So, anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.